From the studio at 5600feet.com, it's time for the Trek Upward Radio Show.
Hey, Arthur.
Hey, Gene, how you doing?
Oh, God, I'm galloping up this mountain. Got to get to the top.
Yeah, I love this music. Woo-ha! All right, Montana bound. Here we are. How are you, Gene?
Well, I'm pretty good. How are you, Arthur?
Good. Absolutely good today.
We got some fun stuff to talk about on this show.
Yeah, fired up and ready
You
to
know
go.
what? That music is so fit. We're going to be talking about Donald Trump's chart. And hey, that music fits him with his Mars and Leo, you know. Crusader for a cause. He is a crusader for a cause. And you know, his cause is he wants to put America and make it great again.
Well, that's always a good thing. I hope his motives are good. I hope it works out.
I was quite surprised when I looked at his chart because I have mixed emotions about Donald. You know, when he comes on, to me, because I'm a Leo, I love strength in a man. You know, I like toughness. I like a good business mind. I like a balanced budget, you know.
How about a radio voice? Do you like a radio voice?
And I love a radio voice. Oh, my God. I love a radio voice.
Ladies and gentlemen, of course, we're here with the queen of the stars herself, Gene Hart. Gene.
And the king himself with the great Excalibur, Arthur.
Yep. Thank you very much. Named for the one and only King Arthur.
Hey, he's a hero.
Of Camelot fame.
That's what I'm talking about, heroes. You know, we need a hero in America. I don't know where we're going to find it. I don't know for sure if Donald Trump's the one, but I tell you what, when I look at his chart, I do see strength, and I see someone that can lead and get the job done. That excites me because we have been dealing with 8 years of someone who can't get the job done. And then furthermore...
Yeah, I saw his performance there on the GOP debates.
But you know, that wasn't really him because Fox News, I'm telling you, they didn't even ask him intelligent questions. You know, it's like, come on.
Well, as you know, Gene, I know the game is rigged, you know, so it's a little difficult. Fox News is in on it, too.
But is it possible? We know the game is rigged. We know that we already have picked 2 presidential candidates that are going to run, and probably that's Bush and Hillary. But the thing is, can someone with $10 billion come in and, you know, change the game?
Well, yeah.
As strong as he is, he would have to be tough Trump to change the game because the political system and the machine has been going for so long. If you remember that movie, Smith Goes to Washington with Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Great movie, and it's the truth. I've been watching it on the media as they've handled Trump. They beat him, they torture him, they burn him at the stake, and he still comes out strong because it's true. The silent majority has had it. We're sick of these little wimpy guys running the nation and taking us down the tube into socialism, communism, and every other foul thing, and getting our beloved friends and neighbors' heads cut off. I've had it. I want strength. I want muscle.
So you see this guy as being somewhat of a, I don't know what, a little bit of a savior kind of image on the political scene?
Not a savior, but someone who get the job done. I'm not looking for a savior. I have my higher self. My God in me is going to save me. Salvation is self-elevation, you know, coming up higher. That's what the Trek Upward is all about, is coming up higher. I think Donald came here with a mission. And that, of course, we all have a mission. And if you look at your astrology, you can find that mission. But in his chart,
what's his say?
He's got Mercury, Saturn, and Venus all in the 11th house. Most people, and then he has Sun, Uranus in the 10th house, and then his Mars is right on his ascendant. He has a Leo ascendant. The reason he comes off so, you know, amazingly, what's that word? Starts with a B.
Arrogant.
Arrogant. Royalty. You either like him or you don't.
Okay.
He's a drama king and he has substance behind his drama. Now, a lot of drama people don't have substance. He's got $10 billion in the bank account. And you know what's that guy's name? That other financial amazing wizard with money. Friday texted everybody and said, I want to be Trump's Secretary of Treasury. You know, so there we got 2 billionaires in the office. To me, the most important thing is the money. Where's the money coming from? Do we have the money? Do we have jobs? I want my paycheck. I want to make money. I want that money and the abundant life to flow. And I want someone in the office that'll get that going, because if that's going, and someone who wants our military strong, I'm happy because I got protection and I got money. I mean, what else can you ask for?
Yeah, what else do you need, right? Protection and money. No.
If you're going to live in the physical plane. Now, if you want to go to Nirvana, you don't necessarily need those things. You need quite a different.
Well, I'm a kind of guy that's a little bit, I've seen him come and gone, right? Kind of like your Ross Perot and that.
Hey, tell us about your trip to Chicago. I heard you went to Chicago last week and you saw.
I did go to Chicago, and I stayed in a hotel where I looked right out the window, and there was Mr. Trump's tower right in front of my hotel window. So I was looking.
He was trying to tell you something. He's trumpeting.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Gene. I mean, I see a lot of positive things in there. There are a lot of folks, though, that don't see him as a positive influence or a positive energy.
Well, you can only see what you have within yourself. In other words, if you've got leadership and strength in yourself, you recognize a leader when you see him.
Oh, that's true, but it's there are things that we can't ignore. For example, one of the things is I mean, he courted the Clintons for a very long period of time.
Well, he was a businessman. There's a good reason for courting the Clintons. He wasn't running for office. He was a businnesman, and what a great thing to have is political people in your pocket. Now he's on the other side of the coin, and he doesn't necessarily have to, wine and dine those people anymore, because he wants us.
That's true.
So he has to wine and dine us, and all we want is strength. We want muscle. We want someone to come in and make America great again.
Well, when Donald Trump got married in 2005, Clinton attended that wedding right in the front row.
But he wasn't running for political office. He was a businessman trying to get busier.
Okay. So I'm hoping you're right. I would hope that you're right. However,
well, the first thing I looked for in the astrology is Pluto square Mars. Is this guy legitimate or not? And when I see Pluto and Mars, the first thing I think is thug. And I think of the mafia and people that will do criminal things. He does not have that. I was so relieved when I saw that. He doesn't have Pluto square Mars. He's not a criminal. He's got business savvy. He just comes on like a Leo, like royalty. And some people resent royalty because, royalty gets everything. Well, he worked hard for it.
It's interesting, too, because some folks there, are looking at this, and they can see him as a thug, or they can see him as being bossy, or...
All Leos get treated that way. You know why? I know that because I'm a Leo, and some people think
I seriously have to... Do you see anything in his chart that says that he puts his money where his mouth is?
Oh, absolutely. He's honest.
Well, what about these connections to like the Clintons and those that have been associated with the one world order and things like that? How do you feel about that?
Well, I think he's distancing. I can't even say that word. Say that for me. Distancing himself from those types of people.
We're going to have to write these words down.
He doesn't have to hold their hand anymore. The one thing that he's saying over and over that I really like hearing is that, I don't need their money and I don't need their sponsorship anymore. I'm my own person. Leos do know how to be their own person. I'm not saying he's a Leo. Actually, he's a Gemini. But he has a Leo ascendant at 29 degrees, which is a critical strength point. And his sun shines in the 10th house of status. In Gemini, he knows what to say. He knows what to think. He knows how to say it. And he can make you laugh.
Because we have a connection. I know my astrology a little bit, and my Leo is also very conjoined with his, my ascendant as well. So some of the positive things that I've heard on feedback from others is that he does have business savvy. He's telling it like it is, obviously. And like I said, I'm concerned that he is aware of these other agendas that we know about in the government that have been going on.
And that's what gives him a little bit even more, as far as I'm concerned, strength. You know the enemy. You know the enemy. What is that saying in the Bible about be as sly as wolves or gentle, but as gentle as a dove?
Yeah. What is it? Be as wise as serpents and harmless as doves.
That's what I see him doing. His moon is in Sagittarius in the 4th house, and his Venus is in Cancer. He loves his family. He loves family. He loves America. Cancer is the sign. When you put Cancer and Sagittarius together, you have patriotism. You have someone who's patriotic, who loves that strength, who is a crusader for a cause. He has an emotional need to crusade his cause. What he's really smart about it is he's not telling everything that his plan is all about, because he's a great alchemist, and that's why he's got $10 billion in his bank account.
I got a real leading question here. How do you know that the date that he has for his astrology is accurate?
June 14th. I'm not going to say that over the air. I mean, he does like to give his phone number away, but
yeah, that's true.
or other people's phone numbers away. But I get excited. So yeah, Thursday night, when he was on, I've listened to a lot of his presentations on YouTube, and I've been so impressed with his presentations, but I was so disappointed again in Megyn Kelly and Chris Wallace. What a jerk. They did not give him intelligent questions. What they gave him was anything they could do to sabotage him. You could tell that they were up to something, that they weren't up to treating him as a politician. He's a politician already, naturally speaking, because he is a successful businessman. And most of the politicians that I know are not successful because they earned it with their hands. They're successful because they conned their way into a position.
Well, there's a lot of thinking out there, Gene. I know for a fact that I've heard some other speakers talk about this, and as far back as 2012, it's been on the agenda to have Clinton and Jeb Bush. Now, what amazes me about this whole thing is how many million people do we have in this country, and we're still stuck with the Bush legacy and also the Clinton legacy?
He's so faded into the mist on that stage. It was like he wasn't even there, Jeb Bush. It's like, I'm not going to put another Obama in office. I don't care if he's Republican or not. My
point is back in 2012, these guys were set up to be the front runners, and the media has been prepping the United States for this. The Americans have not woken up to this fact. You can't tell me that there aren't enough talented, intelligent, capable people in this country that could be president of the United States, and we're still forced to take on this Clinton-Bush kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, get me on my soapbox.
That's why I'm liking the Trump card that we got here.
Yeah, the Trump card. That's a good way to put it. I just hope that he does put his money where his mouth is, and that it's not just service and bread and circus for America.
You know what? That's what the media wants us to think, is it's a circus. That's their manipulation. That's the machine at work trying to. Right. It's a dog and pony show. Baloney. This man means it. He could have ran last time and he didn't. He waited and he studied and he observed. And I think because he has Mercury in Cancer in an Aquarius house, which is where Einstein had his Mercury, he learns by osmosis rather than concentrated study. He just kind of feels his way. And because he's an Aquarian behind the backdrop of that Cancer, he's brilliant. He's electrified because he can tune in. For instance, that moment with Ron Paul, he looked over and Ron started attacking him. Ron Paul, am I saying his name right? Rand Paul.
Yeah, Rand Paul.
Yeah, he started attacking Trump. And it he started sort of stuttering, I guess, is the best way I can say it. And Trump looked at him and goes, "Oh yeah, you seem to be having a bad day." Yeah. And the attunement, it was accurate as ever because he was having a bad day. And
I'll believe it when I see it. They always say, "Put your money where your mouth is," but as they say in biblical scriptures, you will know them by their works.
Okay, well, there's nothing wrong with making $10 billion.
No, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. However, I mean, are we going to see something different than we did, with Perot, which basically just split the vote, and then that just, capped it for everybody?
Perot just sort of had big ears.
There for, fodder for talk in the morning talk shows, Good Morning America and all the other shows. I mean,
Perot had big ears. He didn't have the face. He didn't have the toughness. He just had maybe a little money. I mean,
Okay.
he couldn't put his money where his mouth was. You know what Trump can do is he can put his money where his mouth is. He's a Gemini, so that means he's got the gift of gab.
Let me ask you a
So
question
yes,
here.
he can negotiate with foreigners, and yes, he will make Mexico pay for that wall. You watch.
Yeah, I heard of negotiating on with foreigners. That was pretty funny. I gotta admit there were some things there that were talked about that I really liked, especially having personally lived in both Arizona and Texas as border states. I know very well the problems that are down there. So for somebody to want to go ahead and build a wall, one of the first things that they need to do. That is an absolute need. But the reason for that is that they're not building the walls to open those doors up. And it's basically dumbing down what we're supposed to do. Middle-class jobs are being given away. It's basically becoming the rich, and it's becoming the not rich. And the whole attempt here was to try to take down America. I just want to know where he fits on that sliding scale.
Well, first of all, he made it an issue. He got up and he said, okay, he literally made a fool of himself. And I call that making a fool of yourself for Christ, because he exposed the lethargic condition of the political system, doing nothing about the wall. He bluntly said, you guys are stupid. This wall needs to be built and Mexico can pay for it. He was very black and white about it. And every other issue he's brought to the surface, the economy. I'm going to get you jobs. I made $10 billion. I can do it. I know how.
Well, we know the Mexican government is encouraging the people to jump across the Rio Grande. I mean, that's the way it's been. They're encouraged by the government to do that. That's the direction that they're moving in. That they feel like there's a sense of entitlement that land belongs to them. And so these people are coming in here expecting that this is what's owed or due them, and that a lot of that message came from the Mexican government.
Well, I think he's enlightened me a little bit in the realm of thinking about China, and we're sending all our jobs to China instead of keeping our jobs here in America. And he wants to fix that immediately. That makes me happy because I know so many people who are unemployed, being in the business that I'm in. I hear it all the time. People just don't have any money. They don't have jobs. And I know that the media says, oh, jobs have increased this month by blah, blah, blah. It is a bunch of blah, 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 because there's so many people running around without money in their pockets.
Yeah, you see all these fast food restaurants popping up all over the place.
Oh,
so what kind of jobs are we talking about? Low wage jobs.
Exactly. People are just so desperate they're going to work at McDonald's.
Let me ask you a question then on the astrology. Excuse me. Let me ask you a question here. Do you see anything around the time frame of the election? I see smiling. Yeah, I see that look on your face. All right, what's it say?
Well, maybe I should keep that a secret and let everybody enjoy the show. Right. No. I do believe that we have a chance here. And, the door is slim. There's a foot in it, holding it open. Now let me just back up the truck before I give you my answer and kind of tease you a little bit. We are in what's called the dark cycle of the Kali Yuga. 2015 to 2025, mankind's karma, or the heaviness of living upon the physical world of Earth, is upon us. And it's coming down the pipeline fast and furiously. And people are walking around feeling like they got a 50-pound weight on their shoulders. And it starts through the economy, because that's where the abundance of the light, or the ability to maintain and keep things moving, happens. So we're getting smacked around. Mainly to learn how to make better decisions. The purpose of pain is so that you grow up and meet the challenge.
I think the biggest problem that we're experiencing as a nation is that people just do not see the evil that's in play.
Well, they're asleep. So here comes Donald Trump to wake everybody up. And that's why there's a silent majority. I totally agree with him on that. He said that. That was one of the first things out of his mouth is, we're going to wake it up, and people are tired of this. They're going to sleep because Obama is lulling everybody to sleep so that he can come in and kill us. I mean, literally.
I'm still a little concerned about all the elbow rubbing and, all the things that have been going on.
He do that. He has to do that so he knows who the foul ones are. He knows who they are because he's got personal on-hands experience. He went in and got to know them. and
So,
rub
you know
shoulders with
what?
him.
I'd really like to know what the Clintons gave him for a wedding present. That would be interesting to find out.
Well, my personal
What it
opinion is,
was.
I don't know if I could get in
Wait,
trouble for.
wait a minute. Was it an invitation to the Bohemian Grove, you know, where these guys, you know, the ultra power elite meet, you know?
What is that called?
Bohemian Grove.
The Bohemian Grove.
Yeah,
How
the
do you know all
Bohemian
this
Grove.
stuff?
Well, this is what was that?
How do you know all this stuff?
Oh, I know lots of stuff. I have the world at my fingers.
I
It's
see.
called Google.
Mm. Well, you know what? You and Trump have something in common. You both
What
have
is
Leo
that?
ascendants, so you
Yeah,
know
both have
stuff.
Leos, and they are conjoined, by the way. I know enough about astrology to know that those two are, that they are there where they are.
Well, what happens is that it means that you both have secrets. You guys know stuff that other people don't know. You know, so Trump is trying to enlighten America and say, hey, you guys, wake up, smell the roses. We got some bad guys that are kind of stupid running in the country. And you wondering
Right.
why you don't have a paycheck or a job, or that the thousands of immigrants are coming in without going through the protocol that they need to go through, and
Yep.
making it hard for the ones who did go through the protocol and are here illegally, you know.
Well, I hope, you know, he does something to expose some of this other nonsense that's going on.
He is, little by little by little, you know, it's kind of like he can only take so much. So I think he's just bringing one little pearl out of his little bag at a time and saying, okay, first let's deal with this, the veterans, Larry, what's his name, McCain. You know, he just called him a name, and basically what that did is it drew attention to McCain. Maybe it wasn't appropriate for him to call a name like that, but maybe it was, because nobody would listen unless he called him a name and made it dramatic. So everybody put their attention on the veterans there for a minute. And then the same goes for the immigration. He called them rapists and druggies and everything, but at the same time he was saying there's also good ones. Absolutely, there's good people in Mexico. They have amazing hearts. But he got people listening because he paused, and he called the names first, which got everybody's attention. Oh my God, listen to how blunt he is. He's a brilliant, brilliant marketer. I have never seen anything like it. He knows exactly.
Well, yeah, I think that would be fine as long as it doesn't get carried over into diplomatic relations.
Yeah.
Let's say he goes to France and he goes to some party there on the Reef
But
Coast.
wait, there's more.
And the next thing you go, hey, you guys are losers.
There's
hey,
more. There's more.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
He rents to so many high people in China. He has these connections, these business connections with so many of the bigwigs in these different countries, you know. So he's already been doing business with them forever. So now, you know, he decides he wants to make America great again. He's got all of them in his pocket. He knows what to do and who to talk to and where to go and what to tell him. That's why he said with confidence, Mexico will pay for that wall. You know, because Ford went and built that car plant in Mexico. What he's gonna do is make Mexico pay tax for every single solitary person that comes across the border that's illegal and they won't take back. So that's one solution. I think it's an awesome solution. But I gotta tell you something. In the middle of all of this, I'm gonna flip-flop a little bit. Ben Carson.
Okay.
I loved him. What a sweetheart. What a light bearer. What an intelligent, quiet, patient, strong man. I would marry him. You know, that's how I was so impressed with what a soul. He almost appeared saint-like to me.
Oh boy. Okay.
Did you see him?
Just a brief comments on it. I came in on the end of some of the comments for the guys, but
No, I have not done his chart, so I really don't know if all I'm saying is that.
do me a favor, look them up. No, I mean I make jest about all this, Gene, and you know my concern is obviously that we find a person that's going to be able to stand for those concepts that the founding fathers of this nation actually set up, and that is that America has a divine plan. It has a destiny, and it has to be fulfilled. And we're watching that just be torn apart, you know, election after election after election, with a bunch of people that want to just control the reins of power and just move on. And we haven't seen those kind of things because we haven't been able to get to the truth in such a way that the media can expose it. And
Have you seen anybody run that is of caliber, of strength, of muscle since, you know, I don't know, John F. Kennedy? Have you seen anybody?
No. No, not at all.
So to me, it's
Mhm.
impressive to have a very strong, confident businessman who's proven that he can make it in the business world, want to come in and make his business world America's business world.
Well, it's interesting to see what's going on. We've got a situation where people are beginning to wake up as to what happened. In fact, there was even more information that was given out about the Kennedy assassination. Most of us know that it was a conspiracy, and no, it's not a theory. And a lot of that went down, and Halderman and Ehrlichman and a lot of other guys were all involved in this, and so on and so on and so on. And you can do the research yourself on this, and we know that that's the case. So in this whole context, we've had this control and this manipulation that's been going on for so many presidential cycles. What's going to make it different? Do you see anything in that chart that's going to change it?
I see strength, I see intelligence, I see a genius at work. I see someone who knows how to negotiate, and the reason I know he knows how to negotiate is because of the very strong Sun in Gemini in his 10th house and his Mercury in Cancer. What he does is he feels his way into the conversation and immediately can evaluate it. He probably has a photographic memory, no ands, ifs, or buts about it with the way that his Mercury is aspected and sitting in this position. So, and I saw it in action. I mean, I got a little bit of intuitiveness myself, and I can't help it. It's just there. It's because I pray.
Well, I hope Mr. Trump, I hope I get an opportunity to meet Mr. Trump, and that I get an opportunity to be able to look at him and say, Mr. Trump, are you willing to fight for what the founding fathers of this country was trying to put together and put pieces back where they belong?
I believe that he is, because his moon's in Sagittarius, which makes him a crusader for a cause. I believe that he is a patriot, and I believe that according to his astrology. And then when I watch him act and I look at his astrology, I see the connection. The one thing that can happen, though, is that he makes enemies because people get jealous of him and they want to take him out. And that's what happens to a lot of Leos, where people will talk behind their backs. They'll gossip about a Leo, and I'm talking about a Leo ascendant. And, oh, look what they're doing. They're doing this and they're doing that. That's totally wrong, and not allowing them to be who they are.
That's happened in my world, having the same thing.
Yeah. And so what happens is that gossip, it spreads like Smith Goes to Washington, You guys got to go see that movie out there, you listening audience.
Mr. Smith Goes to Washington
with Jimmy Stewart. It's a classic. Yeah, it's black and white.
Good.
But, it's the truth of what we're seeing happening right now. And if you really evaluate Chris Wallace and Megyn Kelly, or whatever her name is, Miss Blondie, I couldn't believe what she said about, Trump just lost the woman vote. You know what? He did not. He got my vote, based on the way that he handled her. So, it's such a, let's gossip so that we can confuse the issue and get people distracted on the things that,
Well, we know. Okay, I see a different story to this, and the story that I see about this is there's been in play a lot of manipulation of the media. There's been in play a lot of manipulation of voting. I had the opportunity to be a part of the GOP at the last, in the last round of elections, and I saw the fraud that was perpetrated in the down in Tampa.
How so?
And, firsthand.
How are you involved in that?
I had an opportunity myself and my wife were delegates in the state of Iowa, and we actually went through the caucus process and were part of the caucus process and moved up the ladder of the delegate, to get to the final GOP, and we went as far as the state level. So we were actually representing the region of Iowa at the state, and the next move would have been down to Tampa at the national level. In fact, I ran for national delegate at that point, but that had been pretty much decided already. What I did see happen was, I don't know how people felt about Ron Paul, Rand's dad, but I don't know how they felt about that. But he did have enough votes available to be able to make it to the ballot during that primary, during the convention, and it was blocked. So there were three groups of delegates that had committed to Ron Paul, and they were blocked from getting into the convention center on time, and then therefore alternates were seated because they didn't get there at the right time, and the next thing you know, they were all Romney delegates, and all the teleprompters have been preset around me. Everything else had been preset, and then
You actually saw this with your own.
yeah, well, that information about Tampa was information that came from, people that were down there that we were close to, so it was secondhand for us, but it wasn't, this person said, oh, my cousin's brother, was twice removed. It was this information was well known, and we were directly communicating with the people that were there. So, yes, it was secondhand information, but it was all clear. And in fact, there was a challenge put forth by the Texas delegation, and it was blocked by their rules committee, and it was never allowed to go forward. So as a result of that, it was shut down before it even got started, and his name was not to be brought up. So when you see it at that level, you see a grassroots movement, bam, and it gets shut down like that at the top, it makes you wonder, but it fits with what's happening. The only way we're going to be able to do this is through the spiritual work behind it. We've got to do our spiritual work.
And I have been, praying to Archangel Michael to protect those who are running for office who are legitimate, and to expose those who are weak so that we don't get a weak president again. And I've asked Archangel Raphael to open the minds of the people of the world to see the truth and to recognize strength when they see it, so that we get a strong president. And I mean, you can pray and you can be very detailed about what it is you want, and then be consistent in asking the angels to come forth, like Archangel Michael. Every day I pray to him. I do not miss a day, because I need his protection, and I want our America to be strong. And the only way we're going to be strong is if we start at the spiritual level, which I think the Constitution of the United States was based and written at a spiritual, inspired level, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, most of the symbols of the original American Revolution that were used by the founding fathers have been perverted by those that are trying to pervert it. For example, the all-seeing eye of God that's on the dollar bill, has been perverted into this big brother watching kind of thing.
The thing that's inside the pyramid? Yeah. You're talking about the eye inside the pyramid?
Inside of the pyramid. The pyramid itself, and from a spiritual standpoint, represents the mission of America, and the descent of the top portion of that pyramid represents the capstone, or the top part of the pyramid, which is the fulfillment of the divine plan within the all-seeing eye of God. So, I mean, that's been perverted, just like during World War II, the swastika symbol, which was a very high Buddhic symbol, was perverted by the Nazis. And the same thing is happening. A symbol, the swastika that the Nazis used, the crooked cross, as it was referred to in prophecy, was actually it's a Buddhic symbol. Now, it wasn't twisted or turned. What had happened was Hitler had flipped it over and twisted it. And so the actual symbol of that, what would appear to be a swastika, was perverted. So anybody who looks at that Buddhic symbol thinks it's a Nazi symbol now, and it's not.
What do you mean perverted?
It means they took a good thing and made it bad. So actually what that swastika symbol was in ancient Buddhism is that symbol represented the wheel of life. It represented birth. It represented rebirth. It represented reincarnation. It represented the wheel of your divine plan from the beginning of what your soul is supposed to do to the point where you make it to nirvana. And so that symbol represents, in the four quadrants of the world, the fire, air, water, and earth, it represents the wheel of that whole entire process. That got perverted. So you got the Nazis flipping that thing around, so you can't even look at a Buddhic symbol now without thinking of the Nazis. And that's how the dark forces work. They take what's good and make it look bad. So now you look at a dollar bill and everybody says, ooh, Illuminati, bad, 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 Big Brother's watching, oh, these are ancient Freemason symbols. And what they don't understand was the Freemasons were infiltrated by the dark forces. And that's why we need the spiritual help, is to turn these things back the way they need to be.
I always like those movies, like, what was that one called?
Manchurian Candidate?
Huh?
Manchurian Candidate or Conspiracy Theory with...
No, I was thinking more like National Treasury.
Oh, Lord, those are great. Yeah.
I'm an Indiana Jones type person,
Yeah, Indiana Jones, I actually own 2 Indiana Jones movies.
The National Treasury You know, like
Yeah, national treasure. I love them. They're great. And in fact, the Indiana Jones movies. Ooh, we got to do a show on this because the Indiana Jones movies have so many spiritual keys in them that you wouldn't believe. Especially the last one.
Well, so does National
The
Treasure.
last one. It was the one
Nicolas
before that.
Cage, I
One
think.
with Sean Connery.
Yeah.
What?
Nicolas Cage and National Treasure.
Yeah,
There's a
Nicolas
lot of.
Cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the stuff about the Knights Templar and everything.
Oh,
I
Knights
love
Templar.
that stuff. It's so cool.
You know, if you believe in reincarnation, you know,
Okay.
I do, and you know, when I do a lot of prayer work because I want so bad to have intuition that's beyond, and I don't know any other way to open up that intuition except for to pray on my hands and knees so profoundly, you know, because I want to see past lives. I want to get into my electronic belt, so to speak, which is my subconscious where all my past lives where I've made mistakes so I can look at those mistakes and see how I can fix them in this life because I know that this life is a direct result of the stupid stuff I've done in past lives. And so if I could just remember what it is.
Past lives. We don't do those things.
Well, when I was doing these prayers, I all of a sudden saw myself on a horse as a Templar, a Knights Templar. Oh my God. And you know what? I was guarding the money. You know, I was very concerned. And, you know, the Knights Templars are the ones who started the banking system. So these people in politics I've been with before, I guess. And maybe this is the way I can make up for it by supporting strength, supporting truth, supporting someone who has the guts to say bluntly, hey, you know, we can't keep going down this other road. If we do, we're gonna flatline. And that's exactly what Trump is saying.
I would love to do that, but we've been burned so many times. So my take on this whole thing, Gene, is like I believe like Benjamin Franklin did. Love thy neighbor, but don't tear down your fence.
Furthermore, yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, show it. Prove it to me. Hey, you were born in Missouri. I mean, that's the show me state, right?
Right.
Well, that's the way I feel about it in this political
That's why I do astrology. If somebody
please, Mr. Trump, show us what you mean.
True.
Show us that you're standing for real truth.
Show me part of this. The reason I do astrology is because when I look at a person and then I look at their chart and I see the connections, then I feel like I've been shown. And I know, you know, that I can breathe a little bit easier. Yes, people have free will choice to be or not to be. And that is the question. Is he going to tie into all those amazing, profound gifts that he's been given by his God to change the course of events and to make America strong again, which, I mean, it's scaring the tar out of me. I'm willing to take a chance. I am willing to gamble on him because he's the only one that shows substance in my book. And the substance is the fact that he's got a bank account. And the substance is that he's had bankruptcies and things like that, and he's been able to use that to his advantage. And the substance is that he's not afraid to tell someone what he thinks, you know, and he's not saying it to be a people pleaser like most other politicians. Let me please you. He doesn't care, which is awesome. I love that.
It's definitely refreshing.
It's the only thing that's going to save America is to have someone who's got substance come in there and slap people around a little bit because.
Well, if it's not substance, certainly a lot of.
It's a wake-up call, and people are waking up because he's done it. And you know why there was 24 million viewers? It wasn't because Fox News was doing this great show with 10 Republicans. It's because Trump magnetized all those viewers. He's got something in him that's a magnet.
Well, people are tired. You know, they're tired of seeing this. We're getting fed the same junk over and over again. I think, who was it, Edmund Burke? You know, the only thing that men have to do for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. I mean, that's a paraphrase of a quote from, I think, Edmund Burke. And you know, it's true. A lot of people do not know that they can do something about it and that their voice and their actions will count. So it's like, what can I do? I'm too small. We've got tools. Here at the Trek Upward Radio Show, we will not leave you comfortless. We'll tell you that. So we'll give you the tools to do what you want. And, Gene, maybe I can tell them about my website at this point.
Go for it.
Go for it. All right, thank you. prophecyisgiven.com. Check it out. And there's tools in there for how to do calls. And if what is a call? It's like spiritual work. If you don't even know how to do it, that's okay. We describe to you how to do it, steps that you can take, and you can actually make calls that I've written that are on the website and just do them with me as they are, and we'll be executing spiritual laws and tools and techniques that have been kept from us in mainstream religions that are effective. Not only are they effective, but they're very powerful. So please visit up and check it out. That's prophecyisgiven.com. And check it out.
I will. I keep meaning to get onto that and check it out, but I just haven't gotten there yet. Okay.
We haven't gotten there yet.
And then, because I'm so busy on my website, which is eugenehart.com, so if you want your stars looked at.
Have you got any specials or anything that you're doing for people?
Specials?
Yeah, like
special that I do their chart. Oh, that was
specials that you do their chart. Yeah, but didn't you have some kind of a class special or something you were talking about?
Yeah, I am teaching classes online, but right now pretty much everything's full. But I will be starting a new class in September 15th. So if you want to think about learning how to do astrology and knowing who are the people that you're rubbing shoulders with, just all you got to do is have their birth date. You can look at that. You can look at the time, date, and place of birth and get an exact, display of the type of persons that you're starting to make decisions about interacting with. If you know who you're with, you can save yourself a lot of trouble. You can save yourself.
Yeah, I know your phone number, so I know how to get in touch with you. But what if somebody else wants to get in touch with you?
They can go to astrologyeugenehart.com and send me an email off of the contact there, or you can call me at 406-599-3934. That is my. You can also text me too. It's probably faster to text me or email me simply because it'll take me a week to get back to my voicemails because it gets full and it takes a half hour to listen to them. So I got to schedule my voicemail listen.
We're also in the process of updating our website. We continue to do that as we add archive radio shows and these radio shows so you can listen to these, and that's at studio at 5600feet.ft.com, and we'll have further information for you there, and you can get in touch with us there as well.
Can't you just do that? Can you type in the Trek Upward radio show?
Yes, we're working on that now so that they'll be able to do that and get to it. Yes,
that's the name of our radio show. The reason 5600 feet is Studio 5600 feet is because my studio is here at 5600 feet.
And it's lovely there in the mountains of Montana, just north of Yellowstone Park, where the deer and the antelope play.
And a few grizzlies.
And other two-legged creatures.
Oh, the little woodchucks. You should see them. They're so cute.
Woodchucks.
I feed them every day,
I've seen the woodchuck. Yes, the woodchuck pile is very close to the studio.
It's awesome. So, talk about finding a place of sanity. You go.
All the time I've been out there, though, I have not seen the woodchucks yet, Gene.
The place of sanity is Mother Nature. Being up in the mountains and walking through the forest and seeing the little woodchucks. I talk to every bird I see. There's bluebirds, there's robins, there's vultures, there's eagles everywhere. Eagles are my favorite bird. They're so powerful.
Eagles?
Yeah. And golden eagles. There's both.
I actually saw one swoop down near my car when I was out there.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah. It's a good sign, supposedly.
Yellowstone Park. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's like living in a postcard. You guys have to come out and see it. You got to be here. You got to experience it. You got to feel it.
Well, back to astrology and the politics. I just want to say that this particular time in mankind's existence is politically a very entertaining one to watch. And so with Donald Trump there, watch what a Leo can do, a Leo ascendant and a Gemini. He is a great talker, a great negotiator. And I'm not saying that I've chosen completely to vote for him, but, until someone else outshines him, he's got my vote at this point. And I know it's very early in the game, and I do hope that what he's done stays consistent and strong, so that
I hope it just doesn't turn out to be another Perot sleight of hand,
But see, there's no comparison. Again, Perot was such a weakling. He was weak. There's no substance there. Trump's got substance. That's the difference. There's a big difference in those personalities. Oh my God.
Let's see what happens after the GOP, after it weeds out, some of the other candidates that are in there, and we'll see what happens.
So you out there, all I ask is that every day you do a prayer for the will of God, however you perceive your God, whatever religion, it doesn't even matter to me. Just pray for the will of God in the realm of strength in our political system, in our government, so that we can have a better president and a stronger nation again. Because America, everybody looks to us. All the other nations, they look to us. No matter whether they're throwing stones or not, they're still looking at us as strong. And so we need to live up to that.
Well, it's clear that America has a destiny and has a divine plan that has been usurped and has been worked around and has been torn down. And unfortunately,
it's America. It's where the I am race embodied, the I am that I am, which is what Moses asked the burning bush, what's the name of God? I am that I am. I am God, you are God. When you use the word I am, it's powerful. And America, I am right. The I am race.
And what does that mean? Well, it's the group of light bearers. That's why we were supposed to be here with religious freedom. That's why we're supposed to move forward, that we have independence, that we have the freedom to be able to follow our own divine plan, that we can do what we need to do, that we can take our opportunities and take our choices. And that was the whole intent of doing this, all of which to get us back up higher in consciousness. And we need to get these people that do not want this higher consciousness literally out of here, so that we can get on for our reason of being.
But see, they're jealous of us, so they hang on to us, and they try to control us, such as the Obamas of the world. They lust after what we've got because they don't have it themselves, and then they try to take it away from us in subtle ways. It's kind of amazing and creepy.
Power.
That's the quickest way to fall on your nose, is to misuse power. Yeah. The higher you go, the higher up you go, the further the fall.
Yeah, it's no joke. Yeah. So, Mr. Trump, I would love to meet you. Please show us that you have the reality that we're hoping you do.
I'm not worried. No worries.
No worries? Okay.
So let's wrap up this show today. Hopefully you have learned something from it, and if not, listen to another show. Listen to another and another. Keep coming back.
All right.
We have a lot to say, a lot to offer you, and you also may have something to say. So please let us hear from you if you have some information. If you want to appear, maybe you want to talk on our show. Give us a call.
Yeah, we also need send us your topics. Anything that you would like us to talk about that we can bring forward to you. No topic is off the table. So
we are walking, talking books. I mean, we have so much information in our little brains, you would not believe it.
We guarantee you we will not leave you where we found you. That is
So, with that being said, maybe we should exit with William Tell again.
I don't know where he is. He's out. I think he's, saddling up the horse. So.
All right.
So,
be sure and listen to us again.
Absolutely. Gene, thank you.
The trek
as always, a pleasure.
Is worth the inconvenience.
Yeah, absolutely. We hope to see you soon, everyone.
We won't see you. We will hear you.
Oh, you're coming out to Montana. I'm going to see them.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Come join us on our next show as we continue to discuss Donald Trump, and we'll add in Megyn Kelly. I'm sure we'll have a surprise for you too. Next time on the Trek Upward Radio Show. The Trek Upward Radio Show is a studio at 5600feet.com production.